So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another episode of Day to Day Around the House. In this video, I'm going to be replacing one of my outdoor light fixtures. It never really gave off very good light, plus it ended up breaking the tab off of it, so the one bulb was just hanging. So it was time to update to a new LED light fixture. Now keep in mind, I'm not a licensed electrician, but I have been doing electrical DIY projects around my various houses over the past 20 years. And if you feel like I didn't give you enough information in this video, I encourage you to go do some more research before tackling any project involving electricity, because any improper or weak connection can lead to a possible fire hazard. Also keep in mind that even if your old light fixture doesn't look exactly like mine, or your new light fixture is different than the one I got, the basic concept is going to be the same for most light fixtures. I ended up going on Amazon and I found this exterior LED light fixture to replace my old one. It cost me about 45 bucks, and I'm going to tell you it was well worth it, and I'm going to show you how easy it was to replace. So let's get to it. So remember that safety is always first, so make sure you go to your electrical panel and shut off whatever breaker is powering the circuit you're working on in your house before attempting to work on it, so you don't end up getting a shocking experience. The easiest way to figure this out is to turn the light on that you're planning on replacing, then go to the circuit breaker panel and start flipping breakers until that light fixture goes off. And you are now safe to work on that light fixture. I removed the two screws that were holding the old light fixture in place. If your light fixture wasn't working and you want to verify that there's no power going to it before replacing it, after taking off the screws and removing the light fixture from the house, before taking the wire nuts off, use a multimeter and stick it on the white and black leads and make sure you have 0 AC volts before disassembling it any further. I loosened the grounding stud on the light fixture to remove the ground wire and took the wire nuts off of the hot and common leads that were coming from the light fixture housing. Depending on the gauge of the wire, you might have to use a pair of pliers to untwist those wires from each other. Or if there's enough slack and the wires coming out of the house, you could always just cut that excess off to make it easier. And that's how simple it is to remove the old light fixture from the wall. Now this light fixture did come with all the mounting hardware necessary to install it and wire nuts to hook up the wiring. So because this is an exterior light, it comes with a weatherproof pad, and you want to put it on the opposite side of the adapter plate as has the ground stud, so you can still hook up your grounding wires. So you would just push out the inside of that pad, put it on the back side of that adapter plate, and stick it to it. Now because this light fixture actually mounts to the exact center of that adapter plate, you don't really have to worry about the timing of that adapter plate on the wall. Just get it where the wires are comfortable going through it, and where you can anchor 2 screws into your light fixture housing. Make sure that weatherproof pad has a nice seal against the wall or structure that you're attaching it to. Then what I like to do, because I don't want to hold that light fixture up while I hook up the wires, is I grab a piece of tie wire, feed it through that adapter plate, and tie it around the light fixture in some way, shape, or form. And that basically acts as a second set of hands so I can easily hook up the wires. So while I was editing this video, guys, I actually noticed a mistake I made when wiring this in. And even though it makes me look bad sometimes, I always tell you the mistakes I make, so hopefully you guys don't make those same mistakes. And we'll see if you guys can figure it out by the time I tell you later in this video. Now as far as these wire connections, it's basically hot to hot, which is the black, white to white, which is the common, and then the green wire off of the light fixture to the bare wire coming from the house is your ground. I'm also going to put a video at the end of this one as far as how to make a good wire nut connection. If you want to check that out, if you've never done something like this before, I do recommend you watch that. And for that matter, since we are dealing with electricity, if you feel I didn't describe or explain something good enough, make sure you do further research before attempting to tackle a project like this, because any weak connection or bad connection, improper wiring could possibly lead to a fire hazard, and that's something you definitely don't want. So if you haven't figured it out, I actually forgot to put a ground to the adapter plate when I was wiring it in. So right here, this is the footage of me taking it back apart so I could add that ground back to that adapter plate. Since I didn't have any bare or green insulated wire, I just took a common wire that was white and stripped all the insulation off of it and used it for the ground. Now the reason I stripped it all off is just to label that as a ground. I loosened my grounding bolt up on the adapter plate, bent that ground wire to a J-hook, put that J-hook around that grounding bolt, and tightened it back down. Then tied that ground in with the wire coming from the house and the one coming from the light fixture. I did have to get a little bigger wire nut because adding that extra wire, that orange one was too small that came in the kit. Now you might be wondering if that extra ground is really necessary, and it is there for safety reasons. Just as an example, let's say one of your hot wires was rubbing against that adapter plate, wore off the insulation, and that bare hot wire started making contact with the adapter plate. Without that ground on there, theoretically, you could be putting 120 volts to that adapter plate and possibly the light fixture. And once again, theoretically speaking, if that did happen and you touch that light fixture housing or the adapter plate, it could light you up like a Christmas tree. However, with that ground on there, what should happen is it should do a direct short to ground, trip the breaker, and shut the power down. Now, yes, that light fixture that I got did have a green insulated wire on it already. Most likely that green wire is going to the light fixture housing anyways, and the adapter plate should be grounded through the bolt that is holding the light fixture to that adapter plate, but there's just no reason to make shortcuts when it comes to the safety of the wiring in your house. So after rectifying my ground wire mistake, I went ahead and tucked the common, hot, and ground leads back in through the adapter plate into the light fixture box. There is a single Allen head bolt that holds this light fixture in place. Make sure that you have none of those wires getting pinched as you tighten it down onto the adapter plate. Now there is a smaller Allen head that you can loosen and adjust each one of these 3 LEDs that are on this housing. It actually really helps if you loosen the center one up to raise it up out of the way so you can easily get to the main bolt that holds that light fixture to the adapter plate. At first I did try adjusting these without loosening them up, and that was not a good idea. I felt like I was going to leverage them and break them, so I did loosen each one up, adjust it to where I wanted it, and then tighten them all back down. So I did not get a video of my old lights off the back of the house, but this is the one on my side of my house, so you can see what that one was doing. And here is the new LED that I put off the back of the house. So you can see that obviously it's a lot brighter than what the old fixture was. So off the back of my house to those bricks is probably about 35 feet. So you can see how well this is lit up the backyard. And I have no other lights on the back of my house besides that one LED. Because this did so well of lighting up my backyard, I actually purchased another one about a week after I put this one in, and I plan on anchoring that and wiring it into my side yard to light up that, hopefully in the near future. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some good information. If so, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The whole concept of my channel is to give you guys the most information in the least amount of time as possible so I don't waste your time. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.